Domain and host names. Features supported by tools include check all NS record for zone transfer, brute force subdomains and host records, perform common SRV records enumeration, perform a PTR record lookup for a given IP range or CIDR, supports bit flipping attacks, and test if domain variants are in use. The tools that we'll be using for gathering such information includes DNSRecon, DNSenum, URL Crazy, and generic DNS tools. Let's have a demonstration of each one of them one by one. Let us try out the DNSRecon tool here. I'll provide -h for help and here are the output. As you can see, -d is for providing domain, -n for name server, -d is for using the dictionary file, -t is type of enumeration, -a is for authoritative transfer, and -db is for storing the files in database. Now execute the command DNSRecon. -n is for name server, -d is for the domain, -a is for authoritative transfer, and as you can see it started giving the results. If you can observe, it is able to successfully transfer the zone. Let's clear the screen and try out another option. Again DNSRecon. -d is the domain for which we need to find the records. It's zonetransfer.me. -d is for the enumeration file, brute forcing file, and -t is for type of enumeration. We are doing brute forcing here. Again it started giving the records. Next we started doing it with DNSRecon. -d is for domain, -a is for authoritative transfer, -db is for collecting the records in the database and the database name. It started collecting all the records as can be seen on the screen. It is able to save the records in the dnsenum.db file. Let's browse that using SQLite browser. It has opened the DB file here. Here is the table structure as can be seen, and the columns of the tables. Here is the data, the type of records, and the names and the IP address. DNSenum -h for help. DNS server to be used, enumeration process to be followed, skip the reverse lookup operations, the subfile, write all valid domains to this file, -f to read subdomains from this file to perform brute forcing. DNSenum -enum. Zonetransfer.me is the domain name, and as you can see it is able to find out numerous records. DNSenum and the DNS server is this Google's DNS server. No reverse record finding. -enum for enumeration, -f is for the file to be used in the brute force option. -- subfile is to store all the valid domains to a particular file. Our particular file is google_records.txt and the domain is google.com. As you can find that it has already found plenty of records. Now it's brute forcing from the file dns.txt and it is able to get plenty of Google's DNS records. Let's go to the actual file and find out the records. I say nano and the file. Yes, it is able to capture all the valid DNS records. Let's execute the tool called as URL crazy. As you can see, -k is for keyboard layout, -r for no DNS resolution, -f is for formatting of the file, -o is for the output file. Let us clear the screen and execute the URL crazy with -r for no resolve, -o for output file to be created. Let's create it on desktop followed by the name of the file. Here the file name is URL crazy underscore result.txt. Let's execute it for facebook.com domain. Here let's browse the results. I open the URL crazy underscore result.txt file, and here you can see that it has tested for character repeat, character omission, character swap. Here F and A is swapped. Character replacement, here F is replaced by D. Here character insertion, the dot is missing here. The vowel swapping is also tested. We will use here nslookup tool, which is available on Windows as well as Linux platform. The default DNS server can be found out this way, and let us set the default server as Google's DNS server. Now let us set the query type equal to A type records for google.com, and here is the answer for A type records. Let us set query type equal to A but for IPv6. Here is the IPv6 address. Let's set query type equal to name server for google.com. Here is the list of name servers. Let us set query type equal to mail exchanger records for google.com. Here is the list of mail exchanger records. Let us use the utility called as dig. Here are critical options like add global server, the domain name, the query type. Add global server means the DNS server that will be used to resolve the dig queries. And the query types could be anything like A, MX, etc. Let's clear the screen and execute dig @ the DNS server that will be using to resolve these records, followed by blog.google.com, which is the domain name, and let's find out the record type CNAME. The CNAME record for blog.google.com is www.blogger.com. This time we will do it for dig @ the DNS server. The domain name is zonetransfer.me and collect the information hinfo. As you can see, operating system used is Windows XP. Let's clear the screen again, and this time we will use the query type as text. As you can see, here is the output of the same. This time we will try to find the records for SRV. This time we will try to find record for start of authority, and here is the start of authority. Let's execute the dig command with the DNS server as again remaining the same, the Google DNS server. The domain is google.com. CAA type records. We are able to find out one answer. In the answer section, as you can find, the CA type record shows that Here is the record